Okay, greetings, clarophiles and clarophilettes. As you know, we had this contest about the excerpts that I was playing to demonstrate the right-hand response mainly of the Libertas clarinet. And so we have a winner for that, and it was Eric Bromberg. And Eric guessed right the second movement of the Max Reger Clarinet Quintet. It happened to be a quintet that I played for my master's recital at Yale, many years ago when dinosaurs roamed the earth. We were lucky to be able to get the concert off before we got attacked by dinosaurs. So anyway, this is a very beautiful piece of music. Let me encourage all of you who may have heard that little segment that I played. Listen to the whole quintet. It's very beautiful. It's modeled as you would expect after the Brahms quintet, which was modeled as you would expect after the Mozart quintet. So it's a very wonderful piece of music. So I haven't even checked myself on the internet on YouTube if there are any performances of the piece. I think the old recording that I've got, which was on, big tape, it's stored somewhere, but it's probably deteriorated to the point that it's unlistenable. But it wasn't all that bad a performance, as I recall. So anyway, check it out, see if you can find a full performance of it, and let me know. I'll notify everyone of it, or you can just post it below in this particular presentation. So yeah, the Max Reger Clarinet Quintet, and the second movement is actually the kind of the scherzo-like movement, what you would call a scherzo movement, which evolved out of the minuet. And the middle section there is the very lyrical section where the clarinet really can take over and sing that beautiful melody, or at least I consider it a very beautiful melody. And by the way, we want to thank everyone who sent in, their guesses and all that. We appreciate that. Now, Eric will be getting a free Homage clarinet mouthpiece. This is the mouthpiece that I designed that was basically in memory of Harold Wright and the great things that he contributed to clarinet playing and to all of us, and how he's benefited and blessed us by his great artistry and taught us more than words could possibly teach us. So, but for those, the rest of you who took the trouble, we have the list of people who came in for guesses. We'd like to offer, if you want an Homage mouthpiece, we'd like to offer that with $50 off. So the price would go from $225 to $175 or something like that. I'm not much on what prices are. Teddy handles most of all that, but we'd like to give you a really nice discount if you decide that you want an Homage mouthpiece. So again, thank you very much, and thanks for participating. And we'll have more offers, maybe even better ones in the future. So so let's move right on now. Bob Stryka, a friend of mine here in Dallas and a very fine clarinet player, he brought up the issue of exactly what I meant when I talked about behind your nose. Essentially, when I use the term behind my nose, I'm referring to everything that's not the clarinet. In other words, all the stuff, the clarinet itself, at any given time with the reed mouthpiece, it's what I call, it's passive and fixed. Okay, it is what it is. Now you can change it because you can change mouthpieces or barrels or reeds or any number of things. So, but at any given time, it's fixed. It is what it is. Now, behind your nose, all your playing mechanics, your tongue position, your air, and all those things are active and variable. And so I've always looked at the equipment as you try to get the equipment as efficient as possible. Now, what do I mean by that? As efficient as possible means that you can play low, high, and loud and soft with a minimum of embouchure air pressure exchange. Because the primary variable you're going to find behind your nose is air pressure and embouchure pressure, and they're going to be in a subtle exchange. And to the degree the equipment is very unstable and uneven and not very efficient acoustically, you're going to be making much more variations and much more exchanges between embouchure and air to control the instrument when you're playing low, high, and loud and soft, which, by the way, is all you do on the clarinet. Yeah, I know you play short notes and long notes and legato and all that stuff, but any given note, it's either low or high or loud or soft or something in between. So that's basically what I mean, that behind your nose. And in my Educator's Guide to the Clarinet, if you ever had the chance to read that, you notice I defined what I call acoustical efficiency, and that is the clarinet, which is, I'm talking about from the tip of the mouthpiece to the bell, it is essentially the clarinet that is as efficient as possible, is one that enables you to play, again, the maximum dynamic range and the maximum pitch range, which is low, high, and loud and soft, with the most efficiency behind your nose, the less exchange of embouchure and air pressure and all the other things that you might tend to do in order to control the clarinet and in order to play the phrases of the music. What I find in my own experience is that whenever I try to do things that I think I need to do, what I find that I'm getting really in my own way. Not very sharp thing to do. Okay, so we'll take care of that now. I want to also announce that the very next video we're going to be doing actually talking about how to approach making the sound, and everything I've given you I want to share with you now. The reason that I've taken so long and done so many videos and taken so much care, and believe me, we could do more, is that I want to give you the best chance at succeeding. Now, maybe many of you who have been watching this and been curious about playing French embouchure, maybe you've tried it before and it was too painful or too difficult or too frustrating, and so you sort of gave up, but now you think, well, I'm still not where I want to be as a player. Maybe there's some hope in this. Then what I want to do in all these videos is to get you to consider them and get you to basically act on them in trying to implement a lot of these things into your own playing, so that you can have the best chance of succeeding playing French embouchure. And look, the worst thing that can happen is that you're going to improve your single lip playing. But let's be optimistic. If you do all these things, you're going to be able to be the most successful, and you're going to be able to do it with the least amount of frustration, the least amount of pain, and no pain actually. If you do the things that I've outlined with reeds and in playing mechanics, which we're going to do next. So you're not going to hurt yourself, and you're going to find a whole new world of tone, tonal control, nuance, and legato. So it's going to benefit your playing. And I don't want you, if you fail before, I don't want you to fail this time. I switched actually between my first and second year, master's year at Yale, and I played my master's recital, the entire recital. I played it French embouchure, largely against my teacher's wishes. But I could see that I played better, my sound was better, I had better control, and I had a lot of difficulties then and after that. I'm going to have to shut down my iPhone. I had a lot of difficulties after that, but I persevered because, I just didn't see any hope in going back and playing single lip to put up with all the other difficulties that already existed. I mean, I switched because I was unhappy. So anyway, I want you to succeed. I want you to persevere this time, and I'm trying to give you everything I can give you to make that happen, okay? Because it's really a wonderful way and an artistic way to play the clarinet, which has always been my only concern. Okay, having said that, there's one short thing I want to share with you is a letter from a friend also, go back to Yale. He and I were in Yale together, and he's a very, very fine clarinet player and also a physician. And he's continued to play. He's about my age. And so he's practicing and playing. He's been devoted to music. His family's been devoted to music as far back as I can remember. So he's a very dear friend. But anyway, I'm going to share in this next segment a letter that he wrote and my response to him. Okay, I got my friend's letter pulled up here, and I want to read it. It's a very kind letter. We've been friends the longest time, and he's done so many kindnesses to me and to my family and to my children when we were really struggling in Florida. So he's been a real blessing to us and a wonderful clarinet player. So anyway, he writes me, he says, I think it is finally sinking in my hard head what you've been telling me for years. I watched your latest 2 videos, which I think you're talking to me. I dug my ATG system out and I got from you eons ago, and I started using it in my current reeds, and wow, this is what I've been missing through the years. I have a balanced reed, and with the mouthpieces that you made my clarinet and me, I'm finally learning how to play the clarinet. This is being over 70 years old, okay? But me, I keep learning too. That's what I want to do, and that's why I'm sharing with you, so you can learn more, think more about the clarinet, because if you think correctly about the clarinet, you'll play correctly. And if you think wrongly, you're going to be in trouble one way or another. He said, and with the mouthpieces you made my clarinet and me, I'm finally learning how to play the clarinet after all those years. And as you see, I'm still practicing my clarinet. Well, I have to get back, so now, thanks, my friend. So I gave him a rather extensive reply. I'm kind of hesitant about reading it, but I think I'm going to anyway, because there are many things that, not just a reply to him, but there are many things I want to share with you, because I want this to be a forum of discussion, not just, you listening to me passively and I'm trying to figure out something that's going to benefit you. I want interaction. I want discussion. That would be a real blessing to me, because this should be a creative forum so that we can all learn from each other. Many times people give me a dislike. That's a dislike. So I look down hastily. I look through, all the, where's the comment? No, I just don't like it. But no, if you don't like something, there should be an objective reason why you don't like it. And if you share that reason, you might correct some mistake I've made. So that's really important. And if I've made a mistake and I'm sharing it with someone, I definitely want to be corrected. I'd certainly like to at least amend my comments so that maybe there's a little extreme, or maybe, I don't know. But if someone just says, I dislike it, and that's it, and that leaves us with nothing. So we need to benefit from one another, the knowledge and experience of one another, and besides that, we can clear up misunderstandings. So anyway, here's my response to my friend. Actually, I was talking to a lot of customers and people that I know who have more or less given up on learning reed adjustment. I don't blame them. The reeds coming out of the box are hideous, unplayable, unless you're willing to seriously compromise your playing mechanics and are willing to play with a lot of struggle and physical effort. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I'm honest with you. Not one reed in 100 in all the boxes meets the minimum standard that I have for actually performing on a reed. They all have to be worked on, and they're all unbalanced to one degree or another. And so when you're playing French embouchure, you get very sensitive to that, because fine balance on the reed is contingent to your success. If you'll look at some of the latest videos where I actually do some playing, notice how little effort it seems that I'm using to play all over the clarinet in a wide range of dynamics. It seems like I'm not working to play because I'm not working to play. I've done all the work mastering tone production, efficiency, and reed adjustment, and like you, I keep trying to improve and refine the art and poetry of playing the clarinet to achieve both technical and artistic control of this wonderful instrument. The clarinet's an amazing musical achievement, and I've spent a professional lifetime trying to comprehend all it has to offer, and there's always more to learn. Piecing together the beautiful mosaic of the clarinet's possibilities. It's amazing. It took me years to learn what I now know, and I'm still learning. Don't ever let anyone tell you when you get advanced in age you can't get better and you can't advance in valuable knowledge. That kind of thinking is a modern stupidity designed primarily to keep youth both ignorant and arrogant. The optimism of youth is mostly sustained and protected by youth being uncomprehending about how great the challenges really are. I have no doubt Harold Wright could have taught me much in a few lessons. Why I never asked him for a few lessons is a combination of reasons, all bad. First, I was told that Wright was a rather indifferent and ungifted teacher, and I took that prima facie. He could play, but he couldn't teach. Well, I've known a lot of people like that. So I don't know why I took it just prima facie, but I did. Plus, to tell the truth, even though I heard him play many concerts and met with him backstage to congratulate him and speak with him, I never had the nerve to ask him if he would give me any lessons. I only had the nerve to ask Peter Hancock. Peter Hancock played second to Harold Wright and he basically threw me out. After 3 lessons, he said he had nothing to teach me. So anyway, I worked for many years on my own, using my hearing and increasing knowledge of acoustics to sort of reverse engineer how Wright was getting such great results. I can say I'm closer today than I was even last year and the year before. This is not to say I wanted to play music like Harold Wright. I have my own influences musically, mostly German art song. What I wanted, and every clarinet player should want, is the mastery of the clarinet that Harold Wright had in regard to the really beautiful, compelling things about the clarinet: tone colors, tonal shape, refinement, legato, sensitive dynamic control. All these things are things you should emulate in when you hear Harold Wright's playing. You should go, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. How fortunate we who want to play the clarinet with some artistry were and still are fortunate to have Wright as emblematic, showing us the artistic heights of the clarinet's tonal beauty and expressive nuances. A few key ideas. Number one, get over the idea that you have to have so much reed in your mouth. More reed doesn't equal more sound. It equals less control over both pitch and dynamics. If the reed is balanced well in the last 15 to 20 millimeters of the reed, and the bottom part of the top third of the reed, the tip area, is blended well with the top of the middle third, you will find you can play over the entire clarinet's range with a very small amount of reed extended past your lower lip. It's really best to try this playing double lip. If the reed is well balanced, it should speak, and the sound will be there, without closing on the reed and without upward jaw pressure, which kills the sound, by the way. Of course, these are just words. Ours is a performance art, and your body must learn what these words mean. Connaturally, not just in your head. Learning the clarinet reminds me of a story about a father who decided to hold a Bible study with his family. Everything went well until the third study, and he noticed his daughter, Susan, was missing. So he asked what happened, and Susan's sister said she decided she's not coming. So the father went upstairs to find her in her room, and he asked her if she liked the Bible studies. She said she did. Well, then, why did you decide not to come anymore? Oh, she said, I want to come to learn more later, but at this point, I already know more than I do. And I think this is something for us. We, in a performance art, we have to implement what we learn. We have to make it connatural. That is, connatural means second nature. We have to make it second nature, marked in our body, not just in our heads, but in our bodies. Learning mathematics, you can learn that in your head. But learning a performance art involves the total person, the intellect, and all the senses and everything, okay? So that's what we're working with on the clarinet. And so book learning is like taking a pill. Learning the clarinet, that's like taking a pill because you have to have the knowledge. And that can only be effective with a rigorous diet and exercise program. So I know my friend knows that, but I wanted to write those things explicitly to him and share those with him. And I hope that you'll take those words to heart too. I need to remind myself over and over about these things, and not to get discouraged, not to get frustrated, but to think your way through all the problems on the clarinet. And that's what this series on French embouchure playing is all about. I mean, personally, I want to revitalize French embouchure playing because I believe it's the beautiful way to play the clarinet. It's the bel canto. And you really can't achieve the phrasing, the beauty, the sinuous quality, the dynamic control, the even sound throughout the instrument. I haven't heard single lip players that can really achieve it. I've heard lots of guys play all over the clarinet and play the clarinet like a machine gun. That's admirable, okay, but it doesn't move me. I'll leave you with one story about Harold Wright that I didn't experience, but a friend of mine who studied with Wright when he was when he went to Boston, studied with Wright, and he told this story. He said that he was being an usher at Tanglewood, and you know, Tanglewood has a wonderful summer program with the Boston Symphony, and so he was in the concert hall when the symphony was just basically reading through music. This is very early when Wright joined the orchestra, like maybe 1971, 72, something like that. And so he said that the orchestra pulled up Appalachian Spring, and they began to read through Appalachian Spring, and they got to the solo, the dee-da, and so the orchestra is very quiet, and then the clarinet plays the solo. And Wright finished the solo, and the orchestra stopped, and the violins began to applaud. That's only about 5 or 6 notes, maybe not even that. That's what I'm talking about.